This is Qtv News. I am Mariatu Sidibe and thanks for joining us. First, the main local, international and sports news headlines. Qtv journalist Aliou Cisse was on Thursday announced as winner of the Merck Foundation Stay-at-Home Media Awards for Africa. Today, the 15th of October, is International Day for Rural Women. The Commission for Political Debates, in partnership with the United States Embassy, on Thursday gathered students and civil society organizations to discuss the importance of debates in presidential elections. The Ministry of Finance on Thursday commenced a 3-day training on budget analysis, review and scrutiny for National Assembly members. In international news, described as Africa's Che Guevara, the former Burkinabe President Thomas Sankara was assassinated on 15 October 1987. We will take a look at his legacy. And in sports, Kenyan Daniel Wanjiru, the 2017 London Marathon winner, has been banned for 4 years due to an athlete biological passport violation. And now, the local news in detail. Qtv journalist Aliou Cisse was on Thursday announced as winner of the Merck Foundation Stay-at-Home Media Awards for Africa. He came out first in the West Africa category. And Sumane Esonyasi tells us more.
Known for his diligence and commitment to duty, QTV's multiple award-winning journalist Aliou Cisse is again the winner of another award, this time from a reputable international establishment, the Merck Foundation. The Merck Foundation Stay-at-Home Media Award is aimed at raising awareness on how to stay safe and keep physically and mentally healthy during the coronavirus lockdown, with a view to separate facts from myths and misconceptions. Together with African First Ladies, the foundation announced winners on Thursday afternoon. Speaking to journalists, the CEO of Merck Foundation, Rasa Kelej, said, "I am very proud of our winners. We received a tremendous response from African journalists in the form of their entries. I truly believe that media plays a crucial role in educating and sensitizing our communities about health and sensitive issues such as COVID-19. Therefore, through the awards, we are recognizing the distinguished reportage and the exceptional work of journalists who frequently covered this topic in their countries." The Stay-at-Home Media Recognition Awards were introduced in partnership with African First Ladies of Ghana, Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo, Malawi, Namibia, Niger, Guinea-Conakry, Burundi, Central African Republic, Chad, Zimbabwe, Zambia, the Gambia, Liberia, Congo-Brazzaville, Angola and Mozambique. Reacting to the news, a visibly elated Aliou Cisse paid tribute to his colleagues and the management of QTV for always being supportive, adding that the award is dedicated to all Gambians.
It's quite a great moment for me as a Gambian, of course, including QTV, where I work for. I mean, all these things couldn't have been possible without the teamwork that we have here at QTV. I think this success is about all of us. It's about the QTV. It's about the whole Gambia. Because having a journalist from the Gambia, imagine, first position among, journalists from other countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, you name them in the West African sub-region, is quite a great moment. And, I have to dedicate this award to all the viewers of QTV.
Malika, the managing director of QTV, says this is a proud moment for QTV and the entire Q Group.
It demonstrates that we are a center of excellence, that through the camaraderie and the working relationship that we build among ourselves and the tutorship through which you go, especially the news department with Mr. Adedrame, who is very experienced, it shows that, we are definitely growing very, very quickly and faster than most people expected. So we can acclaim to be not just local champions, but we also rearing our heads in the international, and that is very, very important.
There are several winners from various regions across the continent. However, in West Africa, QTV's Aliou Cisse emerged winner, snatching the first position. And as a reward for his magnanimous achievement, he will receive a cash prize of $500. For us at QTV, it is another proud moment and a manifestation of our unflinching resolve to continue delivering quality service to our audience. Answane Sonyasi for QTV News.
Today, the 15th of October, is International Day for Rural Women. The day was established by the UN General Assembly to recognize the critical role and contribution of rural women, including indigenous women in society. This story by Loli M. Kamara is narrated by Mamoudou Lamin Choi.
Rural women play a crucial role in the agriculture, food security and nutrition, land and natural resources management, as well as rural enterprises. In the Gambia, the rural women are seen doing everything possible in their capacity to respond to COVID-19, even as their unpaid care and domestic work increases, as the lockdown limits mobility, supply chains disrupted, and SGBV cases increase. Delivering her statement on the commemoration of the day, the Minister for Women, Children and Social Welfare, Fatou Kinte, says rural women are key agents for the achievement of socio-economic and environmental changes required for sustainable development.
This was compounded by the limited access to credit and the closure of lumos and 20 hours of other markets, thus limiting their access to income. Research shows that rural women account for over 70% of the agricultural labor force in the Gambia and over 50% of small ruminant production. Yet, this has not yet reflected in their level of production and productivity, and by extension, their socioeconomic status. This is mostly due to inadequate marketing and marketing strategies, inadequate storage facilities, and innovation.
Minister Kinte says the Gambia government realizes the importance of empowering rural women given their large presence in the informal sector, agriculture and small enterprises, so that they can claim their rights, assume their leadership roles, as well as fully participate in national development.
The COVID-19 response measures all over the world, including the Gambia, have a strong impact in socioeconomic, educational, and community activities, especially of the rural communities, who entirely depend on agriculture for their livelihood. Indeed, these measures put in place at the beginning of the pandemic were taken to limit the spread of the COVID-19 virus because of its mode of transmission. But they have stifled the economy with a differentiated hard-hit impact on women, men, and young people.
She assures that, as a government, they will continue to promote, among others, gender-responsive investment to extend basic infrastructure, healthcare services, and entrepreneurship.
Addressing women's land rights and practice is another avenue to help protect rural women from displacement and losing their sources of livelihood. The Women Enterprise Fund, the bill for which was recently approved by the National Assembly, will go a long way in solving the issue of access to finance faced by women to create or expand their businesses, especially those in the rural areas.
She urges all relevant stakeholders on this important day to always remember and support rural women and girls to not only rebuild their life after COVID-19, but also increase their resilience to be better prepared to face future crises. Mamoudou Lamin Choi, Qtv News.
The Commission for Political Debates, in partnership with the United States Embassy, on Thursday gathered students and civil society organizations at a symposium to discuss matters relating to political debates on the theme, The Importance of Debates in Presidential Elections. Mamoudou Lamin Choi was at the program and he now reports.
Debate in politics is a contest of ideas through dialogue on what matters to us for our present and future positive developments. This is being promoted and taking shape in the Gambia thanks to the efforts of civil society organizations like the Commission on Political Debate. Developing debate culture in our country's democratic process helps guide voters on their decision-making process. Right at the center of the political race is a referee, the Independent Electoral Commission. The IEC monitors the behavior of candidates during election campaigns, whose actions are guided by electoral rules to follow. The IEC chairman promises to promote political debates among political parties for a meaningful participatory electoral process. Debating on ideas for the development of any country is an interactive process between politicians and the people they seek to represent. But standing the heat of this battle of wills and minds might be a challenge for those who are without plans on how to move a country forward. In a political playing field where patronage, tribal and partisan politics are a tool towards winning elections, political debates have failed to serve its objective. It is said that 78 countries hold political debates around the world. Among the countries that are distinct for their political debates is the United States of America. The US is notable for organizing debate for its presidential election candidates since in the 1960s. The US ambassador to the Gambia expressed his support towards political debates in the Gambia. The Commission of Political Debates in the Gambia, as an impartial organization promoting debates among political parties and their candidates, plans to organize debates for candidates during the 2021 presidential elections. Students from various schools took part in the discourse at the U.S. ambassador's residence and online, asking questions on issues of relevance to the theme of the program, and participated in a mock debate on U.S. domestic and foreign policy matters. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, Qtv News.
The Ministry of Finance on Thursday commenced a 3-day training on budget analysis, review and scrutiny for National Assembly members. The training, funded by the EU, is expected to improve financial and economic governance in the country. And Sumane Isonyasi reports.
In her opening statement, Speaker of the National Assembly, Mariam Jack Denton, says Parliament attaches enormous importance to the national budget. She thanked the EU and the Ministry of Finance for initiating a training she says will improve the monitoring and oversight capacity of the National Assembly. The Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Mamburin Njai, says the pandemic presents unwarranted scrutiny of national budgets. Therefore, the 2021 budget will focus on economic recovery. He went on to add that budget analysis and review is in line with the NDP, which aims at promoting accountability and financial discipline. Dominic Mendy is the lead trainer. He says the training is important as it will give parliamentarians an opportunity to enhance their skills and the ability to interrogate the national budget. The deputy head of the EU mission in the Gambia and the clerk of the National Assembly urge parliamentarians to take ownership of the training, as it will strengthen their ability to critically analyze and scrutinize the national budget, thus promoting the culture of accountability and financial discipline in the country. Ansumane Sonyasi for Qtv News.
We will go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, the news continues with some more local news stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. An anonymous medical health practitioner on Thursday told the Truth Commission that many patients that joined ex-President Jammeh's HIV treatment program left when they realized that Jammeh's treatment was a hoax. Babukar C. reports.
The unidentified witness is a medical doctor who specializes in sexual and reproductive health, focusing on diseases such as HIV and AIDS. The witness told the commission that he has been working on clinical operations since 1991 before moving to treat and care for patients living with HIV and AIDS. He went on to explain the steps involved from counseling stage to the treatment stage of patients, with maximum support and care involved in the process. The witness said that the pronouncement by Yahya Jammeh in 2007 that he can cure HIV/AIDS has hindered their work, as many of the patients abandoned their treatment and went to join Jammeh's treatment program.
There were about 20 or more patients left the National HIV Treatment Program off to the alternative therapy.
The excuse most of the patients gave was that Jammeh has told the whole world that he will treat anyone who joins his treatment program. The witness said many of Jammeh's patients were severely sick with diarrhea, weight loss, coughing, and low CD4 counts, among others. Jammeh's claim, according to the witness, was a lie because none of the patients in his treatment program was cured.
Well, you have been convinced outright that there is a cure on the other side, and you've gone. But hopefully, along the way, you will appreciate that our treatment, the clinic treatment, care and support, will be far more better than what you've been receiving so far.
The anonymous witness said the patients that left them and joined Jammeh's treatment program eventually returned to continue their treatment with him.
How would you compare the two? Was it a wise decision for your patients to leave your program to go to the promised cure?
Well, as I have stated earlier, we were with the records before they left. After they rejoined us, that alone showed us what has happened, their failure. They were failing in health, including their CD4 markers, which is an indication of your level of infection.
Babukar C, Qtv News.
A two-day capacity building training for journalists on how to ethically report gender-based violence is underway in Kololi. The training is organized by Paradise Foundation in partnership with UNFPA. More in this report.
Crimes of gender-based violence in the Gambia remain largely unreported or underreported, therefore leading perpetrators to get away with their unlawful acts. On the other hand, most of the reported cases in the media result in victims being ridiculed and shamed, as evidenced by the reactions to the sexual and gender-based violence testimonies at the ongoing TRRC. The Paradise Foundation has launched a helpline 1313 that seeks to fight against gender-based violence. Over 1,000 complaints have been received since its launching a few months ago. The training, organized by Paradise Foundation, seeks to provide participants with the requisite knowledge to report on gender-based violence cases to ensure that media coverage of such violations do not become another factor deterring victims from reporting, but rather encourage them to come forward. Aisha Balde, director of Paradise Foundation, says the issue of gender-based violence is a societal menace that requires a united force to fight against it. She emphasizes that there is nothing that can justify any act of gender-based violence, be it at home or workplaces. She renewed her foundation's commitment to partner with other organizations to protect women and the girl child.
And our next project is we are going to launch a center for women, whereby women can have access to services, especially psychosocial support and therapy, to heal from the trauma that has been actually put on them.
Aliou Sarr of the UNFPA is hopeful that the training will change how the media perceives victims and report abuses, citing circumstances when the media and public attention is needlessly focused on the conduct of the victim.
We know GBV is a very sensitive issue, and if we do get misinformation in that area, it could have multiple ramifications. In the first place, with misinformation, we know people who suffer from GBV are stigmatized. There is a culture of silence surrounding GBV, so that with misinformation, some of those unfortunate situations are amplified.
Nene Ture of the Ministry of Women's Affairs says there are various legislations to deal with perpetrators and protect victims. She adds that the violation of these laws can lead to prosecution.
Gender-based violence is any act perpetuated on an individual that causes harm. It could either be physical, psychological, emotional, economical, or sexual.
Aliou Cisse, a QTV journalist representing QTV's head of news at the Darami, made a presentation calling on journalists to adhere to the tenets of the profession when reporting on gender-based violence cases. He recommends for another training for news editors.
Anyone who's a journalist, even if you are starting today, this is the first thing they tell you in your reporting. Whatever you report, the facts must be the same. There's nothing less we're quoting or trying to, import unfounded stories just to make your story appetizing because, you want to make headlines.
Haruna Drame, a veteran journalist, also shared his experience with the trainees. While it remains to be seen how this training will impact on the daily media coverage, the efforts to end gender-based violence will be difficult to attain without government taking up its duty to ensure reported cases are effectively and thoroughly investigated, and where cases are established, perpetrators are prosecuted to provide closure for victims. Answane Sonyasi for Qtv News.
We will take another short break and we continue with international and sports news when we return. Welcome back. In international news, described as Africa's Che Guevara, the former Burkinabe president Thomas Sankara was assassinated on 15 October 1987 after a 4-year rule in which he had become an icon of new politics of hope in Africa. Here is the story.
When Thomas Sankara was assassinated in 1987, a New York Times headline read, "A friendship dies in a bloody coup." This was Burkina Faso's 4th coup in 7 years, but the first presidential assassination since Burkina Faso, formerly Upper Volta, won independence from France in 1960. Neighboring Ghana declared 1 week of mourning. Congolese radio lamented the loss of a worthy son of Africa. The entire continent went into a state of bereavement after it had absorbed the shock that the chief assassin had been none other than his childhood friend, who had been inseparable from him, Captain Blaise Compaoré. They ate together, they trained in the army together, and eventually they plotted together when they took over power in 1983. But once in power, cracks began to appear, as if to confirm that famous line in Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. Friendship is constant in all things, save in the office and affairs of love. The showdown came on October 15th, when a unit of Captain Compaoré's commandos shot President Sankara and 12 aides to death. Compaoré was Sankara's number 2 at the time of the 1987 coup d'etat, but had always denied having any role in the killing. However, the Liberian politician and former warlord during Liberia's civil war, Prince Johnson, in his testimony at Liberia's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, implicated Compaoré as the chief architect of Sankara's assassination. At the time of his death, the 37-year-old Captain Sankara, with his jaunty red beret, his photogenic smile, and his energetic preaching of revolution, had become an idolized figure for youth across Africa, earning him the description of Africa's Che Guevara. A handwritten note left at his grave, typical of general sentiments, then read, "Thomas Sankara, the Burkinabe people will never forget." And another one read, "Sankara, cowardly murdered by traitors." Sankara adopted a radical left-wing politics and sought to reduce government corruption. He changed the name of the country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, which means the land of upright men. He emphasized self-sufficiency and staunchly defended all things homegrown, honesty and simple living. His ministers drove small cars and traveled economy class. Sankara himself rode a bicycle. Sankara's revolutionary zeal inspired the youth of Africa then, whose necks were under the knee of the IMF structural adjustment programs, whose so-called benefits were paid for by the poor. He wanted a fairer, proud, independent Africa that was equipped to tackle its challenges, realizing as he did that sovereignty often grinds away in the cycle of loans, debt, and structural adjustment. A journalist likened him to the French revolutionary Maximilien Robespierre, who was universally acknowledged to be incorruptible. Sankara was a symbol for the possibility of a virtuous politics. And even in gender politics, he was ahead of the game, earning him a newspaper article headline, "A Feminist President." In a speech in 1987, he insisted that the overthrow of patriarchy would not be complete as long as the new kind of woman must live with the old kind of man. As we demarcate a new post-COVID-19 normal, one can think of no better role model than Thomas Sankara. His essence is captured in this poignant observation by a journalist, and I quote, "U.S. President Barack Obama was not the first African to say, 'Yes, we can.'" For QTV News, I am Mamadou Mbouch.
As scientists rush to create a COVID-19 vaccine, many fake or unproven medical products and methods claimed to diagnose, prevent or cure the disease have emerged. More in this report.
Since its outbreak, medical experts are doing all it takes to provide the right vaccine. The World Health Organization warned people from using the fake vaccines sold to treat COVID-19 because they may contain harmful ingredients. The WHO has not recommended any medicine as a cure for the coronavirus as at now. Research is underway in many countries, including the Solidarity Trial, spearheaded by the WHO. According to the Association Professor of Physiology at the University of Southern California, many false claims about measures against COVID-19 has circulated widely on social media, but some has circulated by text, on YouTube, and even in some mainstream media. The fraudulent product that claims to cure COVID-19 have not been evaluated for safety and effectiveness. Health officials advise people to thoroughly check certain messages before forwarding them because misinformation can cause panic in society, and advise people to ignore anything online about COVID-19 vaccine. The WHO is concerned that these deceptive and misleading products might cause delay or stop appropriate medical treatment that can lead to serious and life-threatening harm. It is also reported that unauthorized fraudulent test kits for COVID-19 are being sold online. Currently, the only way to be tested for COVID-19 is to talk to your healthcare provider. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
And now on to some sports news. Kenyan Daniel Wanjiru, the 2017 London Marathon winner, has been banned for 4 years due to an athlete biological passport violation, the Sports Independent Athletics Integrity Unit said. More in this report.
Wanjiru was provisionally suspended in April for use of a prohibited substance or method after abnormalities were found in his biological passport. The 28-year-old Kenyan denied any wrongdoing and stressed his innocence. Wanjiru said, "I am innocent," when he had his provisional suspension. The Athletics Integrity Unit disciplinary report said Wanjiru accepted a volunteer provisional suspension in December 2019, agreeing not to race until the final outcome of the case was delivered. Because of the volunteer provisional suspension, the 4-year ban has been backdated to 9th December 2019, which means he will be allowed back to compete in December 2023. Wanjiru rose to fame after beating Kenenisa Bekele to the 2017 London Marathon title. He was also the winner at the Amsterdam Marathon in 2016, where he set his marathon personal best time of 2.05 seconds. Wanjiru started his career in the non-profit team run together founded by former Austrian orienteering champion Thomas Reschi and won several road races in Austria and Italy. His ban means all his results recorded from the 9th of March 2019 to the date he was tested are taken off the records and will be disqualified, including forfeiture of any medals, titles, ranking points, prize money and appearance fees. Ansumane Sonyasi for Qtv News.
Before we end this bulletin, let's take a quick look at our main stories. Qtv journalist Aliou Cisse was on Thursday announced as winner of the Merck Foundation Stay-at-Home Media Awards for Africa. Today, the 15th of October, is International Day for Rural Women. The Commission for Political Debates, in partnership with the United States Embassy, on Thursday gathered students and civil society organizations to discuss the importance of debates in presidential elections. The Ministry of Finance on Thursday emerged a 3-day training on budget analysis, review and scrutiny for National Assembly members. In international news, described as Africa's Che Guevara, the former Burkinabe president Thomas Sankara was assassinated on 15 October 1987. And in sports, Kenyan Daniel Wanjiru, the 2017 London Marathon winner, has been banned for 4 years due to an athlete biological passport violation. That's all we have for you in this bulletin. Join us at 10 for another bulletin. Thank you for watching.